Welcome to NFT Ghosts, where your NFTs stop haunting you. Today, I am super excited because I've got Andres Salinas with me for an interview. He's most popular for his amazing dance moves in his street interviews, and today we've got him to talk about a lot in NFTs. Thank you so much for joining us for an interview, Andreas. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm super stoked. I'm very glad that you reached out. I checked out your YouTube channel. You're doing some incredible stuff, man. So it's a pleasure to be here. So thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you so much for saying that. So Andres, I have been following you for a long time now. I've seen so many of your WGMI YouTube videos also. I loved your street interviews, and I actually wanted to know who it really is Andres Salinas, what his backstory, where is he coming from, like everything about you from your in real life story. Yeah.
So my in real life story, I'm from Michigan. I was born in Chile. But I moved around a lot when I was younger, but we settled in Michigan. And then I just moved out here to LA about 3 years ago, I think it was, like right in 2020. So 2 years ago, right before COVID. And just came out here just because I wanted to live in LA all my life. And from that point on, I just started getting into sales and sell stuff and like these corporate jobs, and I wasn't really happy where I was at, and so I decided to take the initiative and do what I was already doing a long time ago, which was social media. I started off on Vine, and I created a huge following off there. Then they followed me to other platforms, and then it's just been I stopped doing that. I just wasn't interested in being such a silly guy anymore on the internet, and I strayed away from it. But then I happened to come across NFTs, and from that point on, all of the technology just made sense to me. Cryptocurrency, I've always loved it. I've always found it to be very interesting. I was trading it in college. Silly. I think I was trading Ethereum for like $181 back then, but it is what it is. But outside of that, as soon as I figured out like what NFTs were, and it just made sense to me where we're going in the world for technology, digital ownership, and then just everything under the blockchain technology as well. Like everything just came together to the point where I had such belief that I said, you know what, I'm quitting my jobs and I'm just going full time, and I was able to do it. So I'm very thankful.
God, that's an amazing story. How did you get into NFTs? Like, did someone introduce you, or you found them out?
I think I found them on the internet. I was just browsing through Instagram. I'm almost positive that's how it started, because you started seeing all this hype about it, and it was like, what is going on? Like, what am I missing? I saw it so early, and I saw such a hype. I love keeping up with social media trends. I love seeing how the internet works and how everything unfolds. So I just saw it coming, and I was like, what is this? Next thing you know, Gary Vee was on it talking about it. Next thing you know, after that, people are making so much money, and I'm like, okay, hold on a second. I gotta come into this space. Like, I like money. Like, I need to come in here. So I dove head first. You have to learn. I lost a lot of money starting off, unfortunately, but everything from that point on, it was just like I was determined to make it work, and yeah, that's how I really got into it.
Perfect. Like that's how it happened with me. Also, I saw Gary Vee's video, and then I stumbled on Bretway's video, and I suddenly got into NFTs. I didn't even know. But like, what do you do in NFTs? Like, what's your skills? Like, whether you're trading, whether you're flipping, or whether you are creating content, what kind of strategy do you have in your NFT journey?
Right now, I'm definitely adjusting my strategy. I used to be what was known as an alpha caller, which was pretty much I just knew what was coming, who was coming into the space before everybody else, and I would release the news and make sure that it came from me. That was like the thing. And I knew that wasn't sustainable for a very long time. So I started pivoting, and we started doing these street interviews with WGMI. They've been extremely successful. I love talking to people. I love hanging out with people in public. So I just like to go up to people and just ask them questions, and it just makes me realize how small of a bubble you and I are in general, because nobody knows anything about anything, like at all, about the technology or NFTs. So it just reminds me, and I feel like it's easy and digestible content. So that's really my strategy right now, as well as I'm really trying to not dumb things down. I don't think that's the right way of putting it, but simplifying what NFTs and what cryptocurrency provide for the world, And that's what I'm trying to do on my channels right now, especially with a lot of short form content. I see these reels and TikToks and they're all exploding. So it's like, hey, you know what? Like, this makes sense. People unfortunately can't stick around for long form content as much. So my plan, I'm still in the executing phases, but I'm planning on starting a podcast, and that's going to be some of my long form content. But then from that, I'm going to be removing clips and making reels from that. And then outside of that, the other long form content will be street interviews, but everything else is going to be very focused on the micro content. What about yourself? How are you adjusting?
So I saw your videos. So I plan to create YouTube videos. I never thought of creating them with my face on it. But then I took the challenge. I started creating with my face on it, and suddenly I realized that a lot of people were reaching out to me and they really like my content. But I totally agree with you that long-term content is something that does not get a lot of views, I would say. So I am planning your strategy only. I saw your content, you've recorded videos, and then you're creating a shorts out of them and then posting on YouTube. I am thinking to pivot to that only, and because I think YouTube Shorts bring a lot more audience, lot more eyes towards your channel. So that's why I'm thinking what you're doing. Definitely, I'm planning to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
as soon
should.
as I can, yeah.
It's like, why not? It's literally like, to me, it's like double dipping. It doesn't make sense to create this long form content and then not take clips and create this short form content to lead people and funnel them to your next social media platform. I think that's the move. And not only that, I'll hear it all the time, and these algorithms are just getting so much smarter with like TikTok. I'll hear my buddy just called me. He was like telling me, hey, I just got stuck on TikTok for 2 hours. What the hell just happened? Like, I know they're addicting, and they know exactly how to keep you like scrolling. Not only that, I don't know if you've noticed on Instagram, it's absolutely crazy. Right now, the algorithm is starting to put suggested posts. Like, you can follow all the people that you do, and now I'm getting all these suggested posts, and I'm like, hold on a second. The reason I loved Instagram was because it allowed me to focus. I know I gotta find that mode, because I know there has to be a mode where I can just see what I want to see. But that's what I liked about Instagram, because I don't follow anything. When I got into this stuff, I just focused all on NFTs, cryptocurrency, learning, education, whatever it was. That's it. The only thing I kept was dog videos, because I love dog videos. But outside of that, it was just pure focus. When I went on Instagram, there was no distraction of like, ooh, I wonder if like I'm going to be watching funny videos for the next hour. So, but yeah. What's your goal as an influencer in the space? What are you planning on doing?
So my plan is to create a community for NFT Ghost and create a brand value out of NFT Ghost. I have started this YouTube. I'm creating my audience on Twitter, and I've started a Discord recently. So I want to create a whole community where I can teach people who are new to this. And because when I joined in, I struggled a lot. I lost a lot of money because I didn't know what to do. So that's the main reason I started the channel, so that I can teach people. I held on hype bears for so long. I thought it's going to go up above 1 ETH, and I was so stupid enough. I didn't realize that I should have sold it because it's on top. I didn't know these kind of things. So that's the main reason I started the channel, and that's the main reason I started my Discord recently, so that I can teach people about these kind of stuff, that what exactly are NFTs about, what is this technology about, because right now I think people just think that this is all about flipping and whitelist. There is nothing more to this technology. Yep. And that's the reason, I want to tell them it's much more than that. Staking or breeding is not really a utility, it's just a fancy name for it, and you can really do much more than it. So that's why I got into this.
What is your favorite part about NFTs and like the technology wise, like outside of like the alpha, the whitelist, the stupid stuff, like where do you see NFTs being actually utilized in the world?
I like the part that it can be incorporated in any kind of business, and it will enhance the business rather than giving it much more problems. So I recently made a video also, like even if your universities or your colleges do that, like let's say you're a student of Harvard and they launch their own smart contract where when you pass, they'll give you an NFT as a certificate. Nobody's going to steal that NFT because your name is on it, your address is on it, your social number is on it. So it's yours, and you won't be able to sell it because you won't want to, since you have worked so hard or you've studied so hard to gather it. And because I've seen a lot of more people losing their degrees because of a lot more incidents, this is something, it will always remain safe and it is easily validated. So I feel any business can easily utilize NFTs if it wants to, and even if they utilize it, like let's say a swimming kind of business, they can sell that NFT. So the consumer and the person who's the owner both are getting benefited out of it. So yeah, that's the main thing. I feel NFTs have a lot more in future, but since a very less number of people are looking at them right now, that's why it's more about whitelist and flipping. But in future, it will definitely be a lot more than this.
For sure, bro. So where do you see it going into? What industry do you see it going into first? Before any other industry, which industry will NFTs be used in?
I personally feel as much as I've seen, people have started posting about real estate a lot, selling their house on NFTs. Yeah, so I think so that would be a best place to get it there. But not 100% sure. I'm still researching a lot, still learning a lot. But yeah, I think this could be a great move and a really easy way for people to make a lot of money. But what about you? Like, what's your theory on this?
Oh, I mean, look, if they once they establish NFTs for selling homes or like with properties, yeah, once they establish NFTs with selling properties, I genuinely believe I will get a real estate license, just thinking ahead of time and thinking about the royalties that like literally generations after me can receive by owning, like by being part of this. Like imagine I put, I don't know, 1%, 2%, 3%, it's all in the code. You choose it, you agree with the buyer and the seller, but let's just say I put 3% in there. From that point on, I will get 3% royalties on every single house that is sold. Yeah, am I gonna get that many? Am I gonna get that many houses? No, not in my lifetime. But I will guarantee you, as long as the family keeps these NFTs in the what is it? I think the heirloom, or like just in the circle of the blood. It's like incredible money, because no matter what, it's just constant revenue happening over time, no matter what. And
yeah,
just the concept of that is just like, because it's the royalties, you know. It's like
amazing, yeah.
It's incredible.
The amount is such high, and then a small amount of royalties can make you so much of money also. But I saw your post about LinkedIn also, that you said we should create our profiles in LinkedIn. You should build it up right now so that when this particular technology booms up, people would know that you were the first ones and will be easily able to connect with you related to their business. Well, like what's your thought process behind that?
My thought process is just think outside of the effing bubble, dude. It's like stop listening to people. Like everybody's like, oh, NFTs, Twitter. It's like, no, fuck that. Go to Instagram, post your stuff on Instagram. Go to TikTok, post your stuff on TikTok. Utilize all these platforms. Just because it's hot on Twitter now doesn't mean that it's not going to grow. You still have Mark Zuckerberg building Meta. He has the parent company for a reason. It's not like it's just going to disappear. Instagram's just not going to magically disappear. It may disappear over time, but right now where you want to capitalize is you want to build that audience. So when it does come time where it's like, hey, it's cool to be on Instagram, there's a lot of good information there, boom, I'm right there. And that's the best part of what you're doing, and it's the best part of what I'm doing right now. We're in a bear market. And with that said, there's nobody paying attention to us. Everybody's gone, the money's gone, so it's become you and me. We're passionate, we're still learning about this stuff. As time goes on, we're still gonna be putting out content, we're still gonna be giving people all the stuff that they need to learn, so when it does come time to that bull run, guess who they're gonna look at?
Totally agree. Yeah. So one of the things that I really wanted to know from you, because when I joined in, I followed Brit and I watched a lot of his and Sebastian's interviews, and they launched WGMI. I got into it, but I always wanted to be like part of the team. Could not, never. But I suddenly saw you coming up on their YouTube channel, on their posts, and I realized like, how is this guy doing this? Yeah. So because a lot of my audience is beginner and a lot of people want to know how they can get into communities like this. How did you do it? What's the secret?
Genuinely, I think my secret isn't a secret, so I'd love to share it with whoever's willing to listen. What I do is I give. There's no secret about that. I give. I don't ask for anything. So I really believe in, like, if you give a lot, you'll receive a lot. So long story short, I'm doing my research. I'm giving it away. I'm constantly giving it away for free. I was always in the Discord chats. No matter what community I was in, I was letting people know this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And I got scouted. People started realizing, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, this guy's passionate. Oh, this guy's really got his finger on the pulse. And so that's how it happened. I never asked for it. It was just weird. It was like one day, the head of operations over at Magic Mushroom Clubhouse set up a meeting with myself and her and Brett. And I was like, what? And if you don't know who that is, that's Tia. She's a phenomenal woman in the NFT space. But she just set up this meeting, and I didn't even understand. Like, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know what this meeting's about. And it was like, hey, we need you. We want you. And it was like, oh, cool. How can we work together? Like, it was an opportunity that I wouldn't pass up, because it's like, I've just utilized this network. And that's what it all is. It's networking. It's just, the cool thing is even when I was doing all this stuff, I was never asking for anything. It was just like, I kept giving content. I just kept giving ideas. I showed that I cared. And it's just like, at that point, I connected with other people, like myself and Kosher now. He's like the homie. I call him every single day. He calls me every single day. We're on the phone for hours. That he has a phenomenal work ethic, and I love where his head's at. He's a very young man. So it's really cool to see where he's going and how they see it. Because the people that are really going to make this technology explode is the Gen Z. You know, it's the millennials. It's going to be like everybody younger, because the old heads, they don't understand it, nor do they want to learn. It's normal. It's typical.
Agreed.
And the people that are older and they are investing and they are paying attention, they're much more understanding and a lot more open-minded about what's actually happening. People always resist change, and that's normal. So, but I would say that's all I did. That's all it took. It was just me networking, me constantly being friendly to people, and just giving and not asking for anything. I don't think I say this, and a lot of times I talk to people, I don't think anybody in the NFT space can say I've ever asked them for anything, because it's just I kind of take pride in that. It's like, I'm not here to ask you for favors. I'm here for genuine connection. I'm here to be your friend. I'm here to talk about stuff and learn. I don't need anything from you.
I totally agree. Like, I think that's the best way to grow in a market. When you start giving out a lot to people, they start respecting you, and they start seeing you like, this guy knows a lot, and you suddenly get a lot more recognition than if you're just trying to find something that can benefit you. Totally agree with you. Salute you for that. But I wanted to know, like, a Kosher or a Bento Boy or Bradway, I think these people are very early adopters. They started when no one was looking at it, and they made a lot of money out of it. But in the current market, when it's a bear market, since you have been spending a lot of time with them, what's their thought process? Like, what do they think about this technology? What do they think it will go in future? And where should a person who is joining right now NFTs should look at it from their perspective?
If you're interested in NFTs, look at it as a more technical, and what is it going to do for the future? How do you think it's going to advance, like, the human race? And that's how I would look at it if you're coming into the space. Because right now we're in a free mint meta. There's a lot of, like, rugs going on. There's a lot of scams. So that's definitely one of the things that holds people back. But I would say the way that everybody's adopting to it right now is that you just got to roll with the punches. You have to adopt. So we all were about alpha. Now we're adopting into, like, a more educational and entertainment route. Like, I got lucky. I was lucky to do the street interviews. I was lucky to, like, it's a lot of luck for sure, but definitely you just have to be able to adjust. It's all about adapting, and if you keep doing the same thing over and over, at some point it needs to change, and the alpha is no longer alpha. Like, these alpha groups really aren't even giving out alpha. It's just become general knowledge, you know. So it is what it is. But I think everybody's still on the same pace or the same wavelength, that we still all believe in the actual technology behind it, but we don't know where the trends are going at the moment, because it's like we went from just everybody having fun to everybody gambling to this picture's awesome, this art is awesome, we love the art, this is all that matters, to utility, to now it's like a free mint meta, and it's just like now I think this has to be like the worst meta that we've had. So it's for, at least, like, if you're a degen and you love gambling and just trying to hope to, like, make a bag, then yeah, it's great. But other than that, I don't really enjoy it, because there's no backbone to any of these projects.
Yeah, agreed. I'm kind of enjoying the free mint meta a lot.
You are?
Because I think, I got whitelisted for few. like I got whitelisted for few. I have to pay around $2 or $3 of gas, and then I can quickly flip it. At this point of time, I feel any beginner who is in the market should definitely build up by flipping his ETH. And once the market comes up, the real market comes up, they can actually make money out of it. But this would be the correct time if someone wants to learn and definitely make or build a capital. And that's why I'm kind of enjoying it. Plus, I think this really gives challenge to the projects who are asking for a lot of mint price. You see, projects were asking around 0.2, 0.4, which did not make any sense. But because the market was allowing it, they were asking it. Now, now when a project comes up with even 0.05 ETH, it's not getting sold out at all because people want free mint now. So a project has to do the hard work rather than just sitting back and getting all the money. So they have to do the hard work so that they can get royalties. Otherwise, it's all going to zero. So that's the reason I really like free mint, because it pushes the owners, or it pushes the founders to actually give out something to the community so that they can get that secondary royalties. That's why I'm kind of loving it. But yeah,
I do like that perspective. I find that perspective to be interesting, and I haven't heard it in the space because it does make them work harder. On the flip side, one of my arguments that I've had about this free mint meta is that since they're not charging, they're not going to make it without royalties. Just with they're not going to make it with just royalties, in my personal opinion. Because you have projects that raised millions of dollars, and they're slowly becoming rugs now because we're almost towards the end of the year, because they don't know what they're doing, and it's like it is what it is.
Yeah, that's why I always say in my videos, like, if you want to invest in a project, first look at the founders, whether they have a business experience or not. Because I feel when the market was bullish, a lot more people were launching their projects without having a business experience, because everything was working out. They found a plan on how to create good art, how to create a hype around a game, launched it. But when you get a lot of money, you don't know how to manage it. It's really important. But I think if a project like, let's say XOXO, which recently launched, they didn't mint it out because of the mint price, which was very less although. But again, when they did a free mint, they mint it out quickly. Now it's up to the founders how they can really bring the money in the market for themselves, how they can bring out the news, how they can bring out the hype on their project to bring that secondary royalties. And agreed, it would be really hard for a business to do it or survive just on the basis of royalties. But then I'm kind of enjoying the free meta right now.
Oh, for sure.
It's pretty fun to see.
Dude, I got, if they increase the royalties, for example, and I don't know if the NFT community would allow it, but if they were able to increase the royalties and actually sustain off of just royalties and have enough money, that would be pretty cool. Because I think we were talking about it today on the live stream with Kosher. I think, what is it? Not Habibis, the Saudis, the one that just came out. When we were talking this morning, it was probably like 10:30 in the morning, and it was they raised in royalties alone $530,000. So, but that's like an outlier, that's a really big outlier. So I don't know. It's cool though. I love that perspective. It's like, yeah, they may not be able to give the most, but it's like they should be able to give more. But the problem at the same time is, since they're raising all this money, it's really going to paying the people who are behind the project, like the artists, the devs, the marketing team, and the whole shebang. So it's just like, I don't know. It's a very interesting way, or it really depends on the project.
Agreed. Yeah, like increasing the royalties, totally agree. I feel 90% of people that are in NFTs, they don't care about royalties. They don't even think about it before minting and quickly selling it. Don't even keep in their calculations, so it wouldn't really matter to them if it's 7.5 or 10%. They quickly see it's 0.4 they've bought, they're selling it 0.45, they've made 0.05 profit without thinking of gas, without thinking of royalties. But yeah, it's totally agree. It would be really hard for a business or for a project to survive in a long term without a mint price. But I wanted to ask, like you said, you were researching, you're giving out a lot more value in the Discord. So for a beginner, when I joined in, I didn't know how to research in this particular market about NFTs, since it's very new. And mostly I was watching Brit's videos or Gary Vee's videos. But how did you research? How did you find out all this alpha that you're saying? How did you get to know? Like, it's so much going on in market. It's really hard to keep track of everything. So how did you do it?
How did I do it? The truth was, it was like I woke up and I was on my computer from the second I woke up to the second I went to bed, and sometimes even waking in the middle of the night, because it was just like, you're just like it's like adrenaline. It was like an itch that you just had to scratch. I would be waking up every single day, 8, 9 in the morning, and then staying up minimum. I would say minimum 3, sometimes even 4 or 5. Like, it was bad, and I was like, because it didn't matter. I was just doing whatever it took, because I was like, I need to know. And now I would say my schedule is from like 9 in the morning to about 2 to 3 every single day, and it's just I'm constantly on doing research. That's the only way you can learn. You putting in the hours. That's the only way you're gonna succeed, because at least when I came in the space, there was nobody. There was no information at all. I had a notebook. I was writing down this word that I heard. I'm like, what the hell does this mean? I go look it up. I go watch as many videos as I can, try to figure out the context of what it means. Like, I remember like hearing generative art or derivative or like just royalties. Like, what do you mean royalties? Royalties in what? Like, just all these words, they didn't make sense. So it was just constant studying. And there's no doubt about it that it was like, it's not luck, or that's the whole thing. It was like, that's why I started, was because I realized how hard it was to learn this stuff. And it's not like if you come into the NFT space, you probably have a better shot of learning stuff right now. But I'm saying, if you came into the NFT space back then, there was no information whatsoever. So it's like, and I really wanted to learn. It was cool, because it was like, I'm learning a brand new language. I've never heard a lot of these words. None of this makes sense. But it was like I was just creating this puzzle until like, and every time you got another piece of that puzzle, I was like, oh my gosh, this even makes more sense. Or like, you'd have all these crazy ideas. It's just like, it was so much fun, and everybody was so excited and happy. Now on Twitter, everybody's like bumming. It's like, come on.
Totally agree. Like, I started in November something, and I didn't even know what does mint means. Started googling out. I saw Brett posting a lot of WAGMI. I didn't know what is this.
Yeah.
Started knowing what the full form it felt like. Started seeing all the full forms of NGL, NGMI. Didn't even know what this is all about. But yeah, with research, it all taught me what exactly are they talking about. And then that's how, like, I think you started feeling part of the community when you know what they're talking about, when you know the slang of that community.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
So, what was like, I want to understand, like, since my audience is more towards the beginner part and still learning, as per you, what would be the best way for them to get into if they want to look NFTs as a career? Right, like what kind of job they should look into, how should they try to find that? Because most of the big influencers now, it's really hard to contact them. Even if you send a text, they're getting tons of text a day, so it's really hard to talk to them or like have a personal relationship with them. So how should one who is coming up, has some experience but wants to build up their own like business or want to create a job, how should they do that?
For the job, I highly recommend Google. Just look up NFT jobs, look up any crypto job. There are tons out there. Because my initial idea when I started doing this stuff, I was so passionate, I started creating cover letters and for NFT like marketing or NFT project, like there's so many jobs out there. Like if I go on LinkedIn right now, or let me just look up NFT jobs on Google right now. The first thing I find, Senior Program Manager, Web3 Metaverse NFT for Razorfish, Digital Project Manager, Blockchain NFT, Project Manager, NFT ticketing tooling. There are so many opportunities out there, you're just not looking. That's all it is. If you want a job, you'll find the job, because 99% of these jobs, they don't have prior experience, maybe marketing, but they don't have prior experience. These aren't jobs that like everybody just has. Like, this is all new technology, so what they're looking for are hustlers, people who actually care, people who are willing to learn and like are flexible. That's what they're looking for, because there's so little information out there that they're trying to like gather as much as they can, because a lot of these Web 2 companies don't know. So for on the NFT like project side, if there's anything I can recommend if someone wants to start a project, is outsource. I promise, if you come into this space and you're Web 2 and you just think that you know what's going on and how to work things and the old marketing is going to work, it's not the same. Yeah. It's really not. And a lot of people make the mistakes. I mean, I literally made a video about it a few days ago, posted it today. Chris Brown and Kevin Hart. I saw that. They have like, I think I did the calculations. It's in my notebook actually. I'll tell you exactly what it was. They have a reach of 332 million followers together between their Instagrams and their Twitters. and they were together. They could only sell 2,172 NFTs. That's embarrassing. So that's all I have to say for like NFTs. Like, just outsource. Look around. Find people that know what they're talking about. Buy an NFT. One of the things because I'll help with consultations or advising on projects. I'll start conversations, and like, it's more than anything, I just want to know where their head's at. So if I ask them what their favorite NFT is, and they don't have an NFT, I'm like, oh my, like, I don't say it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are like way in over their head. Like, they're just here to make money, and they're not really that sure about what's going on. And like, because you have to have people, or at least somebody on the team that has been in NFT communities, to know what they're looking for, to figure out how to provide this quote unquote utility. You know, because especially a lot of these companies that are coming into the space don't realize, and celebrities, they don't realize, or influence for that matter, anybody who comes into the space, they forget that the blockchain lasts forever. Therefore, all this, if you screw people over right now, it may not be a big deal right now, but maybe 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever the timeline is, it'll come back to you.
People will remember, last one I have is, I wanted to ask the strategy that you're using. Like, what's the best strategies in NFTs that has really made you a lot of money? A lot of people would love to know that.
Probably, honestly, my money was definitely made during during the alpha time, like beginning of the year, when like it was like, you just knew, like, from my understanding of social media, it just like, okay, this following makes sense, the artist behind it makes sense, the plan makes sense, even though it may be a rug pull, whatever. The plan was very convincing enough to get enough people. So if enough people would be interested in it, like, for example, they like no marketing whatsoever right now. If Chris Brown and Kevin Hart release projects during like January and February, no marketing whatsoever, sold out. It didn't matter what it was. Like it was like, it was that good. Like, it was just like when things just made sense and everything was just clicking. Like, you could sell water to the sea. Like, it was simple, literally. But outside of that, that was where the most of the money was made, for sure. Now, I think the true people that are going to make the most money without giving financial advice is doing dollar cost averaging on the way down of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just be smart. Put what you can. I don't care. People always think it's like, oh, I don't have money to invest. It's like, you have enough money to go buy that fucking coffee. You buy that coffee, you pay $6 for it, go put another $6 in a jar, whatever it is, and by the end of the month, you have a certain amount of money, or actually, at the end of every week, if you want, put that money towards Bitcoin, Ethereum, like, just like investments, or just be smart with your money. Without giving financial advice, because I am not a financial advisor, you know. But yeah, I think that's the best way. Like, I think a lot of people right now who are going to be investing a lot of money into the quote unquote bear market, I think those people are going to be the ones that really crush it during the next bull run. And because it would be like, they'll just be putting that money aside, and it's like, it doesn't even matter. And it's like, I mean, think about it. Literally, what was it? 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? I don't know what. It's like somewhere in 3-4 months. Ethereum was at $400. Bitcoin was at $70,000. These cycles happen. It's like, if you just pay attention to what history does, it's like, oh, okay, this is just one of those things that happen over time, and then boom, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna go up even higher, and then everyone's gonna be like, damn, I wish I bought. Like, this was what we prayed for 6 months ago. We're like, damn, I wish we would have bought a lot more, because we could have bought a lot more NFTs. We could have made a lot more money, whatever it was. So I think that's going to be huge for people, for sure, that are smart and invest wisely.
Agreed. Yeah, that really makes sense. I think this would be the right. I've been telling everyone in my real life, like all the place I work at, I've been telling them to buy or stack ETH or Bitcoin at this point of time. This would be the right time to do it. But most of the answers that I get is, we've already invested a lot. We can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
people are kind of scared also.
At least they're into it. I mean, I think Bitcoin, I mean, it's literally just gold. Like, I mean, it's going to be so, because at some point, there is gonna not be any more Bitcoin, and there will not be the volatility will stop. Like there won't be any more Bitcoin to be. So whatever that price is, that's what it's gonna be worth. And then it's like, oh wow, like I can't even imagine where we're gonna be or where the kind of conversations hopefully we're gonna have in about 2 years, 5 years, 10 years for that matter. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just excited for the future. I really am. I think what we got going on here is something really special that just makes sense. And it's just, I say it a lot, but it's like there's like, what is it? I always say it. It's how would I say it? I forgot how I said it. It was like something along the lines of like, it's like, okay, so it's so much bigger than what people think about it is. It's about decentralizing the world, and underneath that there are NFTs, and those are gonna completely reset the digital identity as we know it. And same thing for the financial aspect or the financial system. It's gonna be completely reset. And I think that in itself, if you can take that with a grain of salt and create your own opinion from that, I think a lot more things will make sense if you look into like what's happening. But yeah,
100% agree. Everyone watching this, I would say definitely take this one in, and this is really important advice that can really help you out in future. But I really like your job perspective also. I've been talking to a lot of people in NFTs, and every time I talk to someone, the job perspective that comes in people's mind is whether they can be a community manager, whether they can be a mod, whether they can be a collab manager. That's all. Like Googling is something I think a lot of people are not doing it till now. They're still thinking of how how they can be a part of project and how they can get into it, doing mod stuff, and
there's so much, but it's so much more than just pictures. And the second that people start realizing what it really is and how it really can help advance the world, then at that point you'll be like, oh, there's real case scenarios out there. It's not my only job isn't on Discord. Like, go figure. And plus we're living in a place of internet where everything's going remote. Like, that's the best part about NFTs and in doing what I do now is that I'm home all the time. I love being home. I'm such a homebody, but I don't have. I love the idea because there was 3 things I always wanted in life, which was financial freedom, like time freedom, and then location freedom. And I had 2 of them at one point. And when I didn't have the third, I was like, hold on a second. I need to be able to do this. I don't want to be limited. So at that point I was like, okay, what do I gotta do? Because if I continue with the job I currently have, I will get stuck in having 2 of the 3, and I want all 3 of them, and that's the goal in life right now.
That's same goal I've been keeping in my mind. It's really hard when you're working at a job, and it's like, for me it's around 10 to 11 hours in my job, and it becomes really hard to create content and then research on NFTs and know everything about the market. So I think in beginning people should definitely, while working, create something of their own, and once they feel they're stabilized, just like you have, they could definitely move towards more into this technology and start making their career out of it.
Yeah, I mean, for someone like yourself, man, I had a great conversation with you, and there was one thing that I did learn. It was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. He genuinely knows how to carry a conversation. You're not just reading off of a script every single YouTube video. It's like, this is actually, it's embedded in you. You really understand it. You did that research that I talk about, where it's like you're in the trenches, you're learning about all this stuff, and you have your own opinions, which is nice to hear. It's very refreshing. So I do appreciate that, brother.
Great, man. But thank you so much for joining me for this interview and giving out so much value on my channel. I really wanted to have you for a very long time. Timings didn't match, but somehow I'm glad that you came here and got a new perspective, and I've got a lot more knowledgeable stuff from you. Yeah, brother. I hope we can do this again together in future.
Yeah, I'm super glad you reached out, man. I was very excited to do this. So it was a pleasure meeting you over what is this, the Riverside? So yeah.
Great. Guys, if you're watching this, make sure you do subscribe so that you can see Andres again in our next YouTube video. Plus, there's a Discord link below for official NFT Ghost Discord channel, so definitely join that.
Love
Thank
that.
you so much, Andreas, for joining us, and you have an amazing day.
You as well, brother.